Hello, you're key of the Sunday's edition of QPVN English News Bulletin. You're with Millie and here come the headlines. President Võ Văn Thưởng joined Great National Unity Festival in Phú Yên. Maintaining great national unity to protect the country. Various activities held as part of Vietnam Year in Turin. On the morning of November the 11th, President Võ Văn Thưởng joined local people in the Xây Dựng village, Suối Trại Cầm in Phú Yên province to celebrate the Great National Unity Festival. Speaking to local residents, President Thưởng was delighted at the efforts to improve the lives and build the government and community of the local people. He hoped that people in the community will pay more attention and provide more favorable conditions for the education of younger generations, and it is the way to escape poverty sustainably. He also asked the local people to cultivate, nurture, and promote the traditional beauty of their respective ethnic groups so that the sounds of the gong and singing can always be passed down, preserved, and spread afar. He also urged them to collaborate in maintaining public order and security. On the occasion, the President and the local authorities presented gifts to outstanding local education managers, teachers, community members, and students. Earlier, President Thưởng and the mission offered incense and flowers at Nhạn Mountain Memorial in Tuy Hòa City. On November the 11th, National Assembly Chairman Vương Đình Huệ attended the Great National Unity Festival in a residential area in Hòa Hiệp, Bắc Quận, Liên Triểu District, Da Nang City. National Assembly Chairman Vương Đình Huệ expressed his delight at the solidarity and mutual support upheld by local residents. On behalf of the party and state leaders, he hailed them for their achievements. He called on the local residents to support the local authorities in completing projects serving socio-economic development. He urged Da Nang City's leadership and local residents to uphold the achievements in realizing the goals set by the resolution of the 13th Party Congress. Local authorities need to pay more attention to the people's thoughts and aspirations while implementing supportive policies for needy residents and supporting them in stabilizing means of livelihood, thus improving their living standard. As occasion of the 93rd anniversary of the Vietnam Fatherland Front's Traditional Day, on November the 11th, General Phan Văn Giang, Minister of National Defense, attended the Great National Unity Festival in Bình Dân residential area in Tân Dân Commune, Hoài Châu District, Hưng Yên. Minister Giang expressed pleasure at the high living standards of the local residents. They have made contribution to building a civilized, beautiful, and peaceful residential area. Hưng Yên is among 10 leading localities in terms of growth rate and foreign investment attraction. Many localities in the province have been recognized as advanced new-style rural areas where national defense and security maintenance has been performed properly. General Giang expected the local authorities to promote the fight tradition and achievements while proactively concretizing and effectively deploying guidelines and policies of the party and state. Military agencies and unit stations in the province are asked to pay more attention to supporting poor localities, promote the strength of the great national unity, and well implement patriotic emulation movements. On behalf of the Central Military Commission and the Ministry of National Defense, General Giang presented the fund worth about $65,000 for the building of 20 gratitude houses, together with gifts for needy households. At 3 p.m. on November the 11th, local time, Brigade 016 Quang Trung with the Vietnam People's Navy arrived at Jiangjiang Port, starting a visit to China. In the coming days, Brigade 016 Quang Trung will carry out foreign affairs activities in Jiangnan, China, and participate in activities within the framework of the Peace and Friendship 2023 joint exercise. Immediately after the ship docked, a welcoming ceremony was held solemnly and built good friendship. During its time in Jiangjiang, the Vietnam People's Navy delegation will attend the exercise opening ceremony and participate in simulation training on ship maneuvering and damage control, practice in first aid for wounded soldiers, engage in anti-piracy and anti-terrorism exercises, joint cultural, artistic, sports, and culinary exchanges with other participation teams. In 2023, Vietnam and Australia marked 50 years of establishing diplomatic relations and 5 years of strategic partnership. Over half a century, Vietnam-Australia relations have gradually developed in a strong, sustainable and substantive manner, especially defense cooperation is always a key pillar, helping foster other cooperation areas for mutual development. To better understand the achievements of Vietnam-Australia defense cooperation in recent times and the prospects for the upcoming term, KBVN reporter had a talk with Colonel Mick Jackson, Australian defense attaché to Vietnam and also a person who spends much sentiment for Vietnam.
So first of all, thank you very much for taking this interview with the QPVN channel. How do you evaluate the cooperation achievements in the fields of the defense between Vietnam and Australia, and also the prospects for the coming time?
Well, Australia and Vietnam have established our diplomatic relations 50 years ago this year, but defence has only really been here for about 24 years. And so I think in that time, we've just come so far, and we've come so far by working together and really looking towards those practical and important things that we can do together that help both our countries out in what we're doing. So our cooperation has been focused a lot on English language training, but we're also now getting into more interesting areas, some other areas of practical cooperation that are of use to both of us. Both Vietnam and Australia are learning from each other as we go forward. So I think the prospects for our defence cooperation are really fantastic, and we're looking forward to a very exciting time as we go forward.
So how do you evaluate Vietnam's contributions to the UN peacekeeping operations over the past time?
I think whilst we certainly provide a lot of support initially, I think what's really shown is that Vietnam is more than capable now of these peacekeeping operations, that you have really shown over the last few years that you're capable of being a very effective performer in the UN system. I think Vietnam should be very proud of the fact that your engineers and your medical personnel are just doing amazing work in South Sudan. They're doing things that are not just helping individual people in the country, but they're helping society as a whole in South Sudan. And it's something that's really impressive to see, that you can have such a practical difference on a country that is so far from Vietnam, and yet you're really contributing to a growing sense of peace and security in that area. And something, as I said, you should be very proud of. In terms of your performance on those operations, I think it speaks for itself. The fact that you are still there, that you're still doing the rotations, and that you're now a sought after asset for the UN is something that is really outstanding. And whilst I'd love for Australia to take credit for that, I think realistically it's the Vietnamese people themselves that have taken you to that point, that you're such an effective performer in that area.
So education is also a bright spot in the cooperation between Vietnam and Australia. And I know that over the past time, Australia has provided practical support in training for Vietnamese students in general, and also military cadets and officers in particular. So how do you evaluate the specific fields between the two defense ministries?
Yes, our trainings that we've been doing with Vietnam, or that we've been offering Vietnam over the last 20 odd years, has really, it's focused a lot on English language training, but we have also branched out into other areas. I think we now have about 3,500 alumni from Vietnam who have taken part in Australian training courses. Again, a lot of that is English language training, and we've really seen some great advancements there, which I think is really contributing to increasing the capability of the Vietnam People's Army. We've also done a lot of scholarships at master's and PhD level for those particularly skilled Vietnamese officers to travel to Australia and spend 12 months or so, or up to 3 years in Australia, and actually doing work that will have a practical impact when they come back here. And we're very proud of the fact that so many Vietnamese military officers have actually been able to successfully complete these courses, come back to Vietnam, and then even in some cases go back again to advance their education even more. I think that's a great thing for Vietnam, and it's a great thing for the bilateral relationship, that we can establish that group of people who really get to understand Australia and understand what we're about as a country and as a people, and that helps to just grow the understanding between our nations, which that's a great thing for both of us.
Once again, thank you very much, Colonel, for taking this interview.
Coming up next, various activities held as part of Vietnam Year in Turin. Vietnam-Laos Friendship Festival 2023 underway in Hồ City. As part of the Vietnam-Italy Year 2023 in Turin City, a series of activities were held to promote the bilateral partnership in politics, economy, and culture between the two countries. At the Vietnam-Turin Economic Forum, Vietnamese ambassador to Italy Dương Hải Hưng pledged that the Vietnamese embassy is ready to support and accompany Italian companies in tapping business opportunities with Vietnam. He also introduced Vietnam's new visa policy, with its hope to lure more tourists and businesses to the country. President of the Asia Economic Cultural Council of Italy, Mr. Fulvio Abano, affirmed that the event is a bridge to promote business opportunities between Turin and Vietnam, which is a potential market and a gateway to Southeast Asia. On the occasion, the Vietnamese embassy also organized a program on Vietnamese culture promotion and exchange at the University of Turin, which comprised an art exhibition, an event introduced Vietnamese traditional cuisine, and a talk show on the similarities between the culture of Vietnam and Italy. Addressing the opening ceremony, Principal of the University of Turin, Stefano Gona, said that the university plans to launch a Vietnamese language study faculty in 2024, becoming the third university in Italy to teach Vietnamese. The Vietnam-Italy Year 2023 in Turin City is considered a success when receiving enthusiastic and numerous attention from Italian friends. On November the 11th in Hồ City, Thừa Thiên Province, the Vietnam-Laos Friendship Festival 2023 officially kicked off to celebrate the 61st founding anniversary of Vietnam-Laos diplomatic relations and 46 years of the signing of the Vietnam-Laos Treaty of Amity and Cooperation. The event will take place till November the 15th with a series of activities, including a photo exhibition on the nation, people, culture of Vietnam and Laos, and partnership between the two sides in many areas, introduction of new technologies in the field of information, communications, and journalism. That is a significant event contributing to promoting cooperation in the field of information and communications as part of the Intergovernmental Agreement on Digital Partnership, digital transformation in the press sector, settlement of fake and harmful news, and enhancing digital skills for the people. In Vietnam, November is the month to pay gratitude towards teachers. In today's news bulletin, our reporters who have just returned from a trip to Faroe Islands will tell you a special story about a teacher who performed mission in such a harsh area. The school year Sông Tử Tây Primary School in Trường Sa Island District, Khánh Hòa Province welcomed the teachers from the mainland who voluntarily come to the island to teach the students who are children of the local islanders. With new teachers, new students, and new challenges, together with the love for the country, the teachers and students here have together spent happy time in the first period of the new school year. It is the first school year that teacher Lê Thanh Chiến has been in charge of a special class that is located in Sông Tử Tây Island Common. Responsible for the 2 grades with 4 students, he has to prepare 2 times of teaching plans and properly manage the time for students so that they can all grab the knowledge during classes. There are just a few students in the class, therefore the teacher has become a friend of the students who together study and play. If the students of 2 grades study in one class, so the teaching methods are somewhat different. I researched carefully those methods before I came here to prepare the best for the classes. The first graders cannot pronounce correctly, so I first need to teach them how to pronounce properly. Voluntarily performing missions on the island, young teacher Bùi Tiến Anh made up his mind to face and overcome challenges. Tiến Anh had research and learned teaching experience in Trường Sa before he came here so that he could confidently work with new students. To accompany with the children, providing them with opportunity to study and play on the remote islands like their peers in the mainland. The number of students is low, so I can spend quality time with them. Hopefully, under our mentorship, they catch up with their peers in the mainland. Even though they are still facing challenges on the remote island, the young teachers have dedicatedly prepared teaching plans for each lesson. At the Faroe Island, the pure sound from the children learning how to read and write blend with the sound of the waves. Together, the teachers and students continue to write the heroic history of the beloved Trungsa archipelago. It is the end of the latest news bulletin. You can watch the news again at kpvn.vn. For now, goodbye and see you next time.